But before we go, my final thought. Welcome to yet another installment of our new series, Are You Better Off Today Than 4 Years Ago? Spoiler alert, the answer is going to be yes. If you feel like switching off this podcast now, which if you haven't already done so, congratulations and thank you for hanging in there. On this date, May 16th, restrictions on bars, restaurants, and public gatherings in general were slowly starting to be lifted in this country with a disease that had already killed 88,000 Americans. The Department of Health and Human Services, by this time, had awarded $11 billion to help testing for the disease, with $750 million of it going to tribal areas, despite the previous day's reporting of the Navajo Nation having the highest rate of infection per capita anywhere in the country, according to figures provided by the Centers for Disease Control. By this time, 4 years ago, approximately 4.5 million cases were reported worldwide, with 310,000 deaths. Meanwhile, back in this country, ousted vaccine expert Dr. Rick Bright testified before Congress that the U.S. risked its darkest winter in modern history if we didn't step up our efforts to test for and contain the virus. All of this, of course, was a few months after Trump said this country would go from 15 cases to 0. Meanwhile, Italy, which is one of the first major epicenters of the virus, as well as the home of the free premium subscriptions to Pornhub during the lockdown, was also slowly starting to reopen. On the subject of reopening, the U.S. unemployment rate dropped to 13.3% as non-farm employment added 2.5 million jobs, with most of those being in the hospitality, construction, and retail industries, which were undergoing recovery, according to details provided by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Meanwhile, fuel demand continued to slowly increase with the gradual reopening of the country, this time 4 years ago, but prices still stayed below $2 per gallon for the remainder of the month, according to the website Gas Buddy, as well as the U.S. Energy Information Administration. While lower than today, admittedly, just remember that 4 years ago today, less fuel was being consumed because nobody was going anywhere because, remember this, we were just going under lockdown for a contagious and severe respiratory virus. In short, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? In case you need to be reminded, and of course some of you do, then the answer is yes. Good night.